He kissed her right there, at our wedding rehearsal, in front of the altar where we were supposed to say our vows tomorrow. His lips didn't find mine that night. They found hers, my best friend. And the worst part? Everyone saw it, everyone but him. Because I stood frozen, watching the man I loved betray me under the same lights that were supposed to bless our forever. But I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I smiled, because I knew something he didn't. That love built on lies always collapses, especially when truth wears a diamond of her own. Hey everyone, welcome back to Love and Lies, the place where stories of heartbreak, hope, and second chances come alive. If you believe that love deserves truth and that karma never forgets an address, then make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts at the end of this story because this one changed my life. It started with love, or at least that's what I thought it was. Ethan and I met during a volunteer event at the Children's Hospital. He was charming, gentle, with the kind of laugh that made you forget everything wrong in your life. I was a nurse back then. Long shifts, tired feet, but a heart that still believed in happy endings. He brought me coffee every morning I worked the early shift. He left sticky notes on my locker that said things like, "You're saving the world, one smile at a time," and slowly, he became my world. 2 years later, he proposed in the most romantic way possible, on the hospital rooftop at sunset, with fairy lights and a song playing from his phone. I said yes through tears, feeling like every prayer I'd whispered finally had an answer. My best friend Marissa was the first person I called. We'd been inseparable since college. She was bold where I was shy, confident where I was careful. She screamed into the phone when I told her I was getting married, and promised she'd be my maid of honor. But looking back, I should have noticed the little things. How she always seemed to know where Ethan was, even when I didn't. How she started showing up at his gym, his office events, even his family dinners, always with the excuse that she was helping me plan the wedding. I told myself I was lucky to have a best friend who loved me that much, who supported me that deeply. But sometimes, love blinds you in ways you don't even realize until it's too late. The rehearsal dinner was supposed to be perfect. The restaurant glowed with candles, laughter filled the air, and everyone raised glasses to love and forever. I wore a simple white dress, one I'd picked because Ethan said I looked like his tomorrow in it. Then, halfway through the night, he went missing. I laughed, assuming he was getting more wine. Until someone whispered, "You should probably see this." I followed their eyes to the corner of the garden patio, and there they were. Ethan and Marissa. His hands were on her waist, hers tangled in his hair. And before I could breathe, before my brain could even catch up, he kissed her. Not a friendly kiss. Not a drunken mistake. It was soft, slow, familiar. The kind of kiss that told me this wasn't their first. The sound around me faded. The music, the laughter, the world, it all went silent. And in that silence, something inside me broke. He looked up, saw me standing there, and froze. Her lipstick was still smeared on his mouth. My fiancé and my best friend. The two people I trusted most. Someone gasped. Someone else tried to whisper my name, but I just smiled, a small, strange, shaking smile. And then, I walked away. That night, I didn't sleep. I packed my things, took off my ring, and drove aimlessly until the sun rose. Every mile I drove, I repeated one truth in my head: you don't beg someone to love you right. I disappeared from their lives completely. No goodbye texts, no explanations. Just silence, the kind that stings more than words ever could. A month later, I transferred to another hospital in a different state. New place, new people, new me. I built walls around my heart and swore I'd never let anyone climb them again. And then I met Ryan. He wasn't loud or flashy. He didn't try to charm me. He was a single dad, an architect with tired eyes and the kind of smile that felt safe. We met in the ER after his little daughter fell off her bike. He thanked me for patching her up, and before leaving he said, "You have the kindest eyes I've ever seen." I laughed for the first time in months. And something about him, his gentleness, his honesty, started melting the frost I'd built around my heart. He didn't rush me. He didn't try to fix me. He just stood by me, quietly reminding me that not all men lie, and not all love hurts. One day, after almost a year together, he brought his daughter to my apartment. She held out a drawing that said, "Will you marry my dad?" When I looked up, Ryan was kneeling there, holding a ring that sparkled like the sunrise I thought I'd never see again. And this time, I said yes with peace in my heart. Our engagement photos went viral in the hospital's newsletter, mostly because Ryan's daughter insisted on photobombing every picture. I didn't post much on social media, but one picture found its way online. I didn't think much of it, until the day fate decided to test me again. It was a Sunday morning. I was grabbing coffee at a small cafe downtown when I heard someone call my name. My stomach twisted when I turned around. Ethan. He looked older, tired, with guilt painted across his face. Behind him stood Marissa, clutching her purse, pretending not to exist. "Emma," he said softly, "you look different." "I am different," I replied. He stammered something about how sorry he was, how everything got complicated, how he'd made a mistake. Marissa rolled her eyes but stayed quiet. And then, his gaze fell to my hand. The engagement ring, Ryan's ring, caught the morning light and shimmered between us. His voice faltered, his breath caught. You're engaged?" I smiled, lifting my hand slightly so he could see it better. "Yes," I said, "to someone who knows what love actually means." He blinked, and for the first time he was the one frozen, just like I had been that night at the rehearsal. Only this time the silence belonged to him. He whispered, "I didn't realize how much I'd lost," and I said, "That's the thing about lies, Ethan. They always sound sweet until the truth finally speaks." Marissa shifted uncomfortably, muttering something about needing to go. I didn't even look at her, because I'd already forgiven them both, not for their sake but for mine. When I walked out of that cafe, the cold air hit my face and I felt lighter. Not because I'd won, but because I'd finally let go. Ryan was waiting in the car, smiling when he saw me. "Everything okay?" he asked. I nodded. "Better than okay." He reached for my hand and I realized that the scars of my past weren't chains anymore. They were reminders of how far I'd come. Love doesn't always arrive when we want it to. Sometimes it comes after the heartbreak, after the silence, after you've rebuilt yourself from ashes. And when it does, it feels nothing like the fairy tales you once believed. It feels real. So if you're listening to this, and your heart is aching, if you've been betrayed, if you've watched someone you love choose someone else, remember this: their betrayal is not your ending. It's the storm that clears your path to someone who deserves your calm. Don't chase closure. Don't beg for answers. Sometimes, the best revenge is simply living the life they said you couldn't. And one day, when they see you smiling again, really smiling, they'll understand what they lost. But by then, it won't even matter, because love built on truth doesn't need to prove anything. It just is. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Love and Lies, where every story reminds us that even through heartbreak, we can still choose kindness, truth, and new beginnings. And always, remember, love may lie, but truth always wins in the end.